YouTube should be live. Here we go. All right. Holy. What up? We have about 4 more maps in my strat, to be honest. What are remarkable realms? Complete 40 unique maps. 40? What unique maps do I want to complete? Obviously, the easy one is Vaults of
Synth,
Atziri.
maybe?
Vaults of
Synth?
Atziri is the easiest one. Since we
Synth maps. You can get invitations done.
fair. Send maps, get
Don't you have an
invitations
invitation?
done. For what was that invitation one I said I wasn't going to do? Annual summons? Could maybe do that. But this would mean 250 modifiers is way too many. I don't think I'm actually going to go for it. Because
Dude, the
every
numbers in these challenges are huge, by the way. How many unique maps?
40. Not that bad.
Alright.
Compared to finishing how many T60s was it that year? Do you want to
But that one was actually fun, though, right? Like, we were really just. Did you feel like you struggled to do that one?
there was one of them that was like Vaults of Atsiria, and yeah, I did struggle to finish the maps because most of my strats that league, I didn't struggle to it. I eventually did it, but most of my strats that league didn't involve killing the boss, so I wasn't actually killing the boss.
Okay.
So when it wouldn't count unless you're killing the boss. So I had to intentionally do strats that kill the boss or go out of my way to kill the boss, like in Mausoleum, so that I could do that. Something like that at least. That's what I remember. There was one we did a lot of Vault of Artillery from. I think it was total tiers of maps or something, where you'd pay someone and then you'd go into the map, they'd run to the end, click the thing, leave, go to the map, click the thing, leave. I don't remember what it was, but it was I remember that one pretty clearly as well. I just don't remember what the actual goal for that challenge was. Why did I come to King's March? Oh yeah, for map runners.
They brought back some things from the Atlas.
Hey buddies, what did y'all bring this time? Stormfire, nothing crazy here. Lots of simulacrum splinters. This will end up being the league I run the most simulacrums.
Logging back in or what?
Not right now, but I think in the long term I do want to run more.
You can probably do
AFK.
carries for it too on TFT. Because all they need to do is join for the final wave, right?
Wouldn't that just make things very healthy?
You handle me being there.
I mean, I can handle it, but it's just I would have to actually pay attention. I was thinking AFK.
For the last wave. I mean, yeah, fair.
For the last wave, I don't know. If people are paying for it in the challenge section, then I don't see why not.
I remember them doing it last time it was there. That's why.
Yeah.
They had an ultimatum. They're usually pretty popular.
Didn't see for this
I
guy.
should do my challenges. I think that should be my next motivation. You've inspired me.
Hello.
Thank you for that.
Vados. You're welcome. I mean, if you're doing any that I can benefit from.
That's good. To be honest, I haven't even looked at them. What are the most annoying ones?
Aside grinding gear goals.
Anything to disenchant. That'll do.
Wait a
Renegade
second.
Girls is what? 100.
What have you got?
Level
Divine
100
Font.
divine font.
Cog maps are nothing. Oh, you need to do 4. Oh, you just do the.
You have to go out away for the conk maps because there's a decent amount of them.
I already have 10 done.
I have 26 done, so I need 24.
So you're blasting.
I
Remembrance
could do them, but
Oh, just don't get hit by certain things.
strenuous summons was like the
Summons?
hardest. Yeah, that's the one I was
250?
modified on
Dude,
invitations.
Did you complete it?
No, 35.
How many do you think I have?
I'm
How many do you think I have?
20.
8. Holy.
The only reason I have that many because I was actually rolling my invitations when I completed my atlas. I was rolling for
Shit.
good
But you have to
numbers.
use the memory strand on gear. Okay.
That was one of them I said I was not going to do, by the way. There's 3 I have said so far I'm not going to do. Strenuous summons, as you might imagine, I'm not doing 250 modifiers. Revered return, which is orbs. They might be expensive. I can afford it, but
Dude,
would
what
I
about
want to
this?
do that? Would I want to do this? Probably not. So probably revered returns and formidable fights.
Which one is that?
Defeat Val
Okay.
Omnitect 40 times, Syndicate Mastermind 4 times, Bestiary bosses 20 times, and Delve bosses 3 times.
Yeah, that one is horrible.
It's an insta skip. So with that, if I skip only those 3, I can do everything else, or I can complete main 37. Now for equipped elites, that is going to be one that was going to be annoying.
Have you done Glorious Gemstones?
Yep.
Oh, dude.
I'm currently at 27. And the reason I'm 28 rather, I'm 28. Or the reason I'm at 28 is, I mean, I kind of kept an eye out for like things I should just be doing, like should I complete maps or not. I finished King's Marches 1 as well. There's the elated exaltations, which is easy to do, which is exalted orb. But I was using a crafting bench in Betrayal for that because there's one that gives exalted orbs. I think it's Hillock in Fortification or something. So whenever I got to, I'll use a different exalted orb. Right now I'm 5/7. I just need to use like an Eldritch Exalt and maybe a Crusader Hunter or Elder Exalt, one of them. But I only need 2 of them. So what else did I do?
They're kind of like not fun. Like
Yeah,
a lot of them you have to go out of your way to do, which is kind of sad.
Yeah, that's how challenges typically are.
I feel like last leagues were actually pretty dynamic.
You know, you just don't remember
was
last
just
league because of how long ago it was. I went out of my way for last league zone.
I feel like
I think it was
maybe
last league I
just did a lot of
figured
diverse
I've-
content.
What's that?
I didn't think I did, but I mean, like maybe you're right.
Last league was so long ago that you probably don't remember, but like last league I was in 40-40 for a reason. I haven't been on 40-40 yet. And
Need more mana.
I haven't been on 40-40 yet, and I'm 28 done. Can't say it was the same last league. And the point is, they were the easier to do ones. Like any ones that like do like King's March was kind of on the easier side to do, but there were also some of the challenges that were there last league. I think I still have the dock. I can even check. It is there. I kind of really wish I got afflictions challenges done. I don't have that purple health ban. It kills me inside.
It's so cool, man. You really did miss out. Try to be better.
I mean, at the time, I didn't even know I didn't know challenges existed. I just used to forget the occasional pop up that I do a channel. I'm like, oh,
Didn't I
I
tell
just
you
ignore
about
it.
challenges?
Um,
My greatest victory.
in what, Necropolis or
Yeah, because
Affliction?
I was like, hey man, remember
I think Necropolis was the first time I did challenges.
No, well, we both you saw the video on the MTX, and I was there, and you're like, wait, you can get stuff, and I'm like, yeah, man. Did you see the affliction stuff? And you were like, what affliction stuff?
Yeah, and that was like in week 2, and I was like, and I hadn't done the challenges, and like, I could have grinded in that 1 week, but I was like, nah, G.
We hit the triple number on divines.
Lol, man is
I wish my
printing
luck
in
could show
abyss.
there.
I am on 53 divines. Humble beginnings. I say humble beginnings, but I'm realistically not doing abyss, so
You will.
I don't enjoy having to cast for no reason other than to open chest, and I'm just spamming that all through the map. I don't enjoy that.
Fair.
That's like, imagine on your build you had to throw attacks to open chest. Like you have shield charge, but you had it. You had a
exactly how it
25%
feels.
chance of shield charge for shield
I
charge
thought the
open
strat was
chest.
cool 2 leagues ago, and I tried it, and I remember being like, "Oh fuck, I need caster mastery."
No, I'm using Casa Mastery, but the point is, like, I don't need to use it to kill. So
I know
I'm
what
out
you
here
mean.
walking, doing whoa 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 whoa. Next part, then I walk forward a bit, whoa 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 whoa. Next part, whoa whoa whoa. Like,
I'm having a better base experience than you are for it, but I promise it's not like that great.
I mean, you're probably at having to cast moments where you would not be casting otherwise.
Yeah, and those feel bad, right?
Yeah, but now imagine if if the thing you were doing what had no meaningful effect on your clear in any way, shape, or form. You're just doing it strictly for that shit to open.
I'm watching people like Sushi do it and pick it up, like click it.
Yeah, I could never do that. I would log out. I would fucking I would log out at the speed of lights.
I think going same is a good idea for you. Like you might just need that change of pace for mapping strategies.
Yeah, I think same is not a bad idea.
That's okay.
All right, let's see if we can find the settlers challenges. There we go. Settlers challenges. What were the harder ones to do? Grinding gear goals, gear grinding goals. So they flipped it last time. And then there was nightmarish. Okay, let's see. Let's scroll down. Brother. Reach level 100, 300 dark shrines in labyrinth. Activate 400 altars of defeat witness bosses. Complete 50 T17s. That I would have done this league easy. I think let's do T17s last league, ironically.
That one felt easy to do.
Then ultimate to surprise is just defeat pinnacles or ubers rather, so not bad. Then nightmarish nemesis was actually pretty chill. It was T17s while having 250 item quantity. I'd have finished that in this league so easily without even realizing it.
Those were the ones I think I felt I completed dynamically as I got stronger.
But then you have the ones where it's like the Black Knight without being hit by any falling rock, which was kind of easy. But there was one.
You just have to bug him out.
I think it was, for me, it was, there was one challenge that had, yeah, this guy without being affected by Verisium laser. That guy.
Yeah, because he would just bug out and do it even when he wasn't attacking you. You just instantly switch to it.
That
you're
guy,
like, bro, what are you doing?
That one in particular was such a pain in the butt.
Holy, what a troll.
Then what else is there? Inciting invitations. Reach a total of 3,000 item quantity from completing invitations. That I don't think I did. That is the equivalent of this current Maven 240 modifiers.
I did that one, but I did probably 100+ invites that league.
Yeah, I didn't do boss rushing. but like that is inciting invitations. Then there's extravagant
Honestly,
equip. This is fine. Use any six of the following currency items is kind of chill.
if you've given the invitations a good shot, yeah, to be honest.
But then you
Very
also
profitable right now, the Conic.
invitations. What
All
makes
these
them?
orbs, all the Conqueror orbs are so much money.
How often do you drop them?
Okay, so if it's the serious ones, the serious ones have a downside, right? Which is you gotta roll the maps for quant, because that actually does affect the orb drop, as far as I know.
Okay.
If anyone knows otherwise, feel free to say. I don't think my knowledge is perfect. It's just what I've heard. And so, because of that, yeah, it's a little bit more work up front.
I don't mind rolling. It's just spam chaos orbs. I don't mind that. But realistically, I don't.
Yeah, that's about it. But like, dude, you're getting so much more from that. Like, Orb of Conflict, there's so much money. What else?
What
Influence
kind of
items
tree
are
do they
money.
use with them? Maybe in
Like
trees.
into the boss nodes, you destructive play it up, yeah, pretty much. You don't even need to destructive play it up. You can use normal altars. You could probably go red altars for Grand Embers farming if you wanted. The only cool thing about Maven trees is if you go Maven, then you can try to juice your chisels, and Maven currency chisels are 50 apiece. I don't know how
Judging by
much
just your
Scarab on that.
chisels.
In the tree, you get Maven chisel drops, right? Based on like
Oh, yeah.
or something. So,
Oh yeah. Okay. And then in the map, all you're doing is rushing to the boss. You're not trying to get the extra bosses from even. You don't care about killing.
You don't care about killing. Well, like, yeah, if you're not doing destructive play, don't care about killing. But I'll be honest, man. I didn't know destructive play you have to kill to this league. I was like, when I should have said it, I had to go back and read. And then when he was flaming you, I was just quiet in
Yeah,
the Discord, like, yeah,
like,
you didn't know that the correct? Dude, read.
when he said it, I was like, wait.
I'm like,
Oh.
bro, do you have any invitations I've done where I'm just literally moving straight and just running to the boss? You still get some bosses, you just don't get the most, right? Which is
Yeah.
technically bad.
Like you want the most because it's you're cheesing in silo, right? So you just want to kill
The
them
thing is you
to have
could-
maximum chance for the things they drop.
You don't have as good of a choice to. Now the Horizon orbs change the character, the person you're the guardian, and not the map. You're a little bit down bad there. Because before I could be like, I only want to run good layouts, and I would Horizon them till they were all good layouts. Whatever was the good layout of the tier of the map, right? Because it's 16, 15, 14.
I won't lie,
But
I really like that change because yesterday when I was selling my maps, I got to get like really good amount of sets with like Cyrus and I think Elder. They were the most offset or something like that.
No, it's a good change. The thing is, just before you could pick your layouts, now you can't on that map.
Yeah,
So
which
you
is
just, like,
fair.
you take the W or the L.
I mean that's fair. I don't think I care too much, but like maybe 50 to 80 maps down the line I might.
Yeah. Maybe do like how many invitations? Maybe do I don't know, do a couple.
If I had to, what I would do is I would farm maps again, get a bunch of invitation and just run them.
Yeah. With the influence scare.
Yeah, why is there any difference in Maven invitation drops between the invitations? Like outside of like killing the actual boss and what you get?
You stain the ground with your
I'm gonna
presence.
clarify the question.
This choice.
Uh,
Show no weakness.
like
Conquer. The code is clear. It is for
if I kill the feared or versus deformed,
broken.
is there a change in like her drop table? Yeah.
She drops what those people drop. So when you kill the feared, you might actually get a purity or sublime or watchers.
Oh.
Or like she'll drop a Zeri item, so Zeri rare uniques. Like the shield or other things. Like
Okay, that makes sense.
for Guardian rotations, it doesn't. I mean, it just means you're dropping their influenced items. Which, by the way, that is money this league. Where people want them. Crusader gloves are 1.2 divines. I made 1.2 divines from it just doing serves. Why? Because it's Culling Strike for mercs for gloves. It's also a base for Flickr gamers to.
Wait, it's Culling Strike is Warlord, not Crusader.
Sorry, Warlord.
Okay. Okay.
I just gave it to my.
Yeah, I have Culling Strike gloves personally. Is what I recommend on my build. So, what influence items am I looking for? Warlord gloves, Shaper helms, I think. A Shaper helm can have Shaper shield for recover life.
Yeah, but also whichever of the amulets gives increased int is probably insane.
Increase int. I feel like it's Shaper. I don't know.
Might actually just be decent for people who want to reroll that to get something. That might also be something you just get a feel for. You don't get that many, right? Like you just like, let's see, you get a feel for it.
Yeah. Oh wait, I'm trolling. I was using Feeding Frenzy to give them aggressive because I was AFK in Sims. About to switch it back. I'll be honest, these days, I like with my shot specifically, I'm just ignoring altars. Like the altars be spawning, I don't look at what they have, I just skip. Zerfie's Last Breath grants last breath when you use a skill drain effect for this mana cost.
I've never seen this before.
I've never seen it either.
Like 15 to 20 C.
What the fuck is Last Breath? Last Breath recovers an amount of life per second based on mana costs. The last of this but is removed if you are hit.
So
So
it's a mana flask.
That gives you giga life.
Because it's gonna multiply your mana cost. But the buff is removed if you are hit? Oh no.
Did Nico just drop me a containment? I don't know who uses that a class like that, because it's 15C, which means somebody's using it. But like,
I know.
who? You know?
I'm about to look it up.
All right, we're done with our set of 20 maps. Now we can POB and we can send a shipment. Let's do that.
It's not even showing up on PoBing Ninja.
Is it a new item?
Who's that?
I got it from Sia.
The Seer.
No, it's been in the game since 2.2.
Do I want to keep my Verisium and just send that for Skirabs? I feel like I want to. Sure, we'll do that.
A little tighter.
What did you say?
It's been in the game since for a while.
And Ninja, does he know it?
Ninja doesn't have it up for some reason. I don't know why.
Nobody's using the
Yeah, it's been in
item.
the game since 2.2.
That is interesting.
Used to be an exclusive drop from a Paranda's chest, but in 3.16 they put in the core drop wall.
Which means we just have never gotten it in all our entire PoE playtime, except now.
Insane.
That's wild. With the number of monsters we kill per season, that's insane.
The legacy version is 800% of mana cost.
Unless our Lucitas hide it, in which case I get it, but I don't think we hide unique flasks, to be
Unique
honest.
mana flasks.
Yeah, I don't think we really hide them.
How come we've never seen it?
All right. So for our next build, we are going to be going for chains of command, and I kind of have an idea for something I want to do. Starting out, I'm going to put the very obvious things. AG is going to have his thing. I kind of know what he's going to have to a degree. He's going to have Gravebind, obviously. He's going to use early weakness if possible. Then we're going to go for a Void Forge. There's no enchantments I particularly care, right? Yeah, I think we don't go for anything. We just go for 20%. Mask of the Stitched. Explode chests. We don't have an explode chest in here. We have the axe, but not the chest. Explode chests. Legacy of Fury, so Scorch Boots. And this is going to be a crit build, I think. Void Forge's base crit is 5%. You just had to be 5%, didn't you? Okay. In that case, okay. Body armor, Crusader, Hunter, Exalted Explode, additional curse, EDR, the usual. That's our AG. Then our Merc. I have a decent idea for what the Merc is going to use, or just at least a starter variant, which is he's going to use a Kingmaker. He's going to have 2 Squirming Terrors. Are there any good corrupts on this item or rings for him? If I can get one with like Hatred, then that could be Giga. Hatred aura effect would be nice. But odds are, knowing what I want, I'd be going Enduring Cry guy. And Enduring Cry has determination. He has determination, he has vitality. So maybe determ aura effects. Ideally, I don't know. We'll figure this out later. For now, we'll just add this. 2 Squirming Terrors. We don't necessarily need Lucky. We don't necessarily need it. Like, it's not bad to have it, but it's also not the end of the world if we don't. There's a universe where we use Shaper Seed. I think we can catalyst this guy with life. That should increase the life regen. So I would have decent life regen as well, coming from this guy. Other amulets include, I think Shaper Seed is fine for now. Belt. Belt is going to likely be combs binding. Yeah, combs binding is what I'm going to use. Probably be some pretty decent determination aura effect. For all of these, I haven't decided yet, but odds are helmet would be Crown of the Tyrant, because being able to reduce all 3 elements would be huge, as well as giving flat. Maybe flat cold damage. Maybe flat cold damage, because odds are I will be trying to get as much flat fizz as possible because Void Forge. And then on top of flat fizz, I'd probably use hatred myself, which meant cold would probably be my most used element. Something like that, most likely. Could also do lightning. Doesn't matter really. Body armor is Garb of the Ephemeral, because we want this to be we want this build to have the potential to use risk, which means we need to be action speed slow immune. Garb of the Ephemeral. Gloves, if he has a good hit range, which I actually haven't used him, but there's a universe where if he has something like Leap Slam, we can give him, what's the name of that shit? Asenat from More Explode. There is that universe. Or someone decided, so I'm going to leave these 2 blank. I'll leave these 2 blank for now. Let's save. Elemental, change of command. This will likely be the high budgets, because I mean it already has some pretty high or expensive items. Now obviously we have to go change of command. This much is obvious. As for what we should be going for, all max res isn't bad, but for now we'll go reduce sexual damage from crit, because that's just nice defenses to have. This guy is going to be 14 and included in full DPS. Then bone barrier, Mistress of Sacrifice. I think I want to go under the assumption. I'm inclined to go play Bringava Command Out Darkness, but honestly, with how limited change of command tends to be in terms of with suffix space, because I plan on doing this and I want to try Ancient Skull. I want to make Ancient Skull very defensive. So this means we're going to need max power charges. Yeah. So naturally we go for some skill effect duration. This puts us at 42 seconds uptime. I want to try using fresh meat on this setup. I want to actually try giving fresh meat a decent shot. But to do that, I'm going to have to potency of will the thing. I'm going to have to actually go for some extra skill effect duration. Something like this. That way, it would be up for 5.6 seconds, 5.7 seconds. And in those 5.7 seconds, all they have to do is kill the things that will be plentiful. And they're golden. Anyways, I will use a mage blood in the high budget version, but in the budget that I will be rolling, I would probably be going for a triple offering, with like the low budget would have triple offering is what I'm thinking, with increased offering effects. Now if I'm going to go, I want to have max AoE if I want to go, what's it called? We have to pick this up.
I didn't realize this, but the Eldritch Expedition challenge is an Expedition 33 reference, because you have to get 333 Eldritch altars and then 33 memory altars.
What's the name?
Eldritch Expedition.
Eldritch Expedition. Oh lol.
So cool, so cute.
Yeah, that's nice. Nice little
And
Easter egg.
I literally just got hit up to trade by someone called Expedition 69. So the PoE community will never change, I guess.
Mm-hmm. So minions leech damages life. We don't really need that. We do need max early res though. So the idea here is Ancient Skull is going to give my minions a degen, but AG is going to naturally out regen the degen. I will not be able to convocate him, so we don't need convocation on the build. Unless I want to make it so he can't crit, which I don't want to. Not because of anything, but because I'll take his helmet slot, and I kind of don't want to take his helmet slots from sustain. So I just let him crit. And I'll just let him crit. We have Squirming Terrors. Hateful Accuser. We need Penance Mark. With this, we can actually sustain the swords in the ideal universe. Now, if this feels awkward, I'm going to remove the duration scaling altogether. So hopefully it doesn't feel awkward. And we're going to use fresh meat in the body armor. This is also going to use an Unatos because, I mean, I already have one, so why not? Okay. Now, something I'm going to probably have to do is I'm probably going to have to go for Eldritch Battery so I can reserve as much life as possible, but also instant leech so I can go for any maps that have reduced recovery rate and whatnot. those two are mandatory, then I have to, I feel like I have to use a timeless jewel here. Find timeless jewel, elegant hubris with supreme ostentation. It's minion instability. 3 with as many slumlords as possible. Give that a weight of 10, then give Axiom Warden a weight of 4. Something like that. Then we have this guy. We can't use that. We can. They should give us reservation. Less physical damage taken while on full ES, and I'm always on full ES. Okay. But if I'm going all this way, I'd probably want to use life, because I feel like I would want to have life mastery in this setup. We are already here, so we might as well do this into a 12 passive cluster. We don't need to mess with this, so we really don't even need to exist in this plane. So yeah, 12 passive cluster. Then we need all the block we can get, so I'm gonna prioritize getting there. I'm thinking to myself if I want this to be the case. We are way above the required level or above feasible levels, so we have to start pruning some things. But first things first, can we cap? No, we plan on going Blessed Rebirth, so we don't necessarily even need this wheel. So we can technically drop this guy, knowing we have this one giving my AG ES. Now this is going to be a lot of extra regen, so mixed feelings about dropping it. So let's focus on order of importance, right? What is not important, what is important? You are important. Sources of sources of block are important. Sources of life are important. 12 passive cluster is important and even needs more nodes. We need to have a blessed rebirth, so let's put that real quick. Medium cluster, 4 passive, minion life, blessed rebirths, and dread march. For all we know, we might go for a megalomaniac there. All right, let's start moving the things that are less than needed. Starting here. Y'all are the most redundant of the bunch. The minion damage sources are not, but like 3 points for minion life is not that important. 3 points for minion damage is okay. If this would be okay if I was going for this guy. This is less than important. So let's do something else. Let's try this. There's nowhere else I can go for 2 points, right? Yeah, let's do this. This is the same one. Let's try the next one. I really want this guy to be there. Why? Because this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We don't have life node number 6. And this, of course, is important to have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We don't have life node number 6 for the 6th mastery. The closest would be here, which is a distance away. Can't really afford to be going that far. Okay. Let's see how many of these are on trade. None. Absolutely none. All right. Okay. Where can the the last life mastery come from? Here, here. Because I think getting the life mastery will put me in a position where realistically I can do I need this? How much stats do I have? 124, 262 baseline. Dexterity. I don't have much in the way of dexterity, but if I oh no, I need hatred. Never mind. I don't need it. Okay.
It's time to unload the gloves, bro. Prage.
What gloves?
My gloves that prefixes filled. I have 13955 ES, which means this glove needs increased ES on the prefix. So that life on fire to attacks that filled. Surely I'm safe, right?
Good luck. What? You hit the
It
life?
took away the life.
Congrats. The reforged defense?
Honestly. Increase energy shield craft. Then veg. Reforged defense. 1430. Dude, that took me from 13555 to 14359.
Yeah, that's 800
Guess
extra
because my
ES or
base
something.
number went up like crazy.
Yeah. I don't think I can fit a life mastery in here. And realistically, this guy, I'm going to have to cut that out. This would be as much as I'm willing to stretch, so I can still get this. What if I did this? 1, 2, 3, 4. Cut out this entirety of that. It saves me a point and puts me in prime position to get my 6th life mastery. Can I get all 6? Chains of Command has life already, so not really. The 15% doesn't do anything for me, is what that would mean. Why not doing this? Why not doing 6 life masteries? I would like to. Why not doing it? It's not happening. Change the command having life just makes it rough to justify. Where else can we shave points from? This is 50% increase crit chance per max power charge you have. So that is 150 baseline. 200% with that. I still haven't taken this wheel. Oh my goodness, I've still not taken this wheel. How do I balance this? Realistically, if I wanted to be tanky, I would path to this area right here. Use this instead of messing around here. But I have a very strong feeling I'm going to need Eldritch Battery in this setup. Because if I'm going triple offering, that's a lot of cost. And there's no space for mana cost early on. Later on, maybe when I drop triple offering, sure. Leash of Oblation. Unatos Val. Anointed with, what is your name again? Hollow Effigy. So now we can go for a +2 wand, convening wand. I guess convoking if we're trying not to care about attributes. Convening wand with level of all, level of minions. Minions will increase damage. Minions have increased crits. Minion attack has speed. Trigger. Let's take this off for now. Where are the dual wielding nodes? This chance to block while dual wielding. Because I'm considering dual wielding, but the problem with dual wielding here is I don't have much in the way of block chance, and I think block is important. We don't have offering effects coming from anywhere, right? Yeah, this is just making sure we can have all three offerings. The three offerings have, oh, I haven't added them. Weapon 1. Bone offering. Flesh offering. Spirit offering. So if I were genuinely going dual wielding, I would have to figure out block chance, because this wouldn't apply. It would have to be this guy to get any semblance of block, which could be worse. Could be worse. Because then I could just do this, get here, go up there, cut out some of this. Probably keep Indomitable Army. Or maybe not. I am undecided yet.
I went from 35 mil to 45 after my most recent changes.
Congrats. That's huge. We still have at least 7 points to call. At a minimum. This area, this is very important to have the accuracy nodes here. I think it's very important. This is, I think, the most questionable area. This area right here. I guess let's start dealing with auras, and then we'll figure out how much space we have. Let's just start there. One downside to using Penance Mark, I keep in mind, without Penance Mark, we aren't even going to be dealing with without Penance Mark, we aren't dealing with fresh meat. Like, it's just not happening. We'll drop the idea of fresh meat in that case. But one thing about Penance Mark is that it's a mark, so we can't actually have that alongside Assassin's Mark, sadly. So that means we can't get the flat crit that comes with Assassin's Mark. So we have to cap our crits with other sources, or via other sources. Fresh meat makes it easy with 61, like we're at 61% already. But we also kind of need to use to like get this up and running. If we can get that wheel, we'll get low DPS. But again, first we have to figure out where we can take points from. It all leads to minion defenses, I'll be honest, like dropping this cluster here. And then Hatred will likely be a no-brainer. Purity of Elements, again, no-brainer. Determination can come from our Mercenary. We can still use Watcher's Eye because we have Determination from the Mercenary. We have Endurance charges coming from the Mercenary. We have a decent amount of regen coming from him as well. What else do we use? Defensively, we can use Flesh and Stone, Tempest Shield. you know, the list is there. Flesh and stone is probably very, very ideal. Precision is almost mandatory. Yeah, something like this is fine. And with this, I only need 108 dexterity. I think that is doable without the timeless jewel. So I think the timeless jewel is not mandatory, which means I can drop a lot of this. Now, odds are we're going to skip this. But since we're not running Tempest Shield, we have work to do on our spell block. Roomies, naturally. Gives us 50-40. So the offerings last how long? 9 seconds. And this is without consuming a corpse, so that is fine. Means we can have 100% uptime on all the offerings, which is kind of really chill. How can we sort or like accuracy without these nodes? I don't think there's much we can do in that regard. Accuracy is still 95 and needs a bit more. It needs a mix of flats because we're not getting level scaling on the animate weapons. So it needs flat and it needs increased. Give me a second, let me get water and I shall be back. All right, I am back. All right, we have a drink. I would drop this region if not for endurance charges. Real talk. How important is this guy? Minion chaos res. Not too important, I don't think. I just need to make sure my anime guardian himself is I need to make sure this guy is capped Elemental army. Feeding frenzy. Minion life or meat shield? That's the question. I'm guessing minion life. So he's still aggressive and tries to kill stuff and gets in range of explode with his grapevines. But I guess it doesn't matter since he's going to be hearing the whispers anyways. In the grand scheme of things, it really doesn't matter. This will go in the helmets. And the helmets. What can we do with the helmets? Can do that reservation. Let's see, PoE.sale. Ancient skull. Yeah. Online only. $24. Yeah, that's not worth. All right, if this isn't worth it, then we go for a different corruption. Maybe regen for now. Max power charges is honestly not a bad one, but that's also going to be on the more expensive side. This is honestly a decent item to double corrupt. Reservation is good. Power charge is good. Level of minion is good. Regen is decent. Life is sides. You know, there are a couple of decent outcomes in here. We'll give it life for now. Replace the reservation cost multi so we don't change our numbers just yet. Gloves, boots. I think these guys are going to be rares. Ring 2 is going to be a rare ring. Weapon 2. We either go Mata's teaching or we go a shield. Now I wanna try checking out Mata's teaching first. Oh, with Mata's teaching I can't. Oh. Well, in that case, it's kind of a no-brainer, eh? I guess we could also use that Mata's teaching with a non-wand with a scepter that you craft with fear essences or something. Loki, we could use a sea glass just to make it so we can reserve. We don't have to go for this guy. But losing that extra sockets, that'd be a blow to my damage by quite a bit. So we'll see. We'll see. We're just going to remove all the non-essentials for now. See where we end up. Honestly, these are non-essentials as well. I say it's non-essential because maybe it's more essential than I give it credit for, simply because of this. Because I can use this, but then that's 3 points to get the same outcome. But I would need to be here to get the 2 points regardless. But it is close to another jewel socket, and I kind of want as many jewel sockets as I can fit. Is there a universe? Let me think. Is there a universe where I go an extra aura with my anime guardian? I feel like that's greed. But if I can make him tanky enough through other sources, then I don't see why not. Genuinely, I don't see why not. Even because like he has blessed rebirth, he might have to drop this wheel, which would be a blow to his regen, and this as well would be a blow to his regen. How much is his regen right now? Let's start there. Anime Guardian AG. He currently has 54k live with a recovery of 37k. It's not bad. This is with Elite Army feeding friends in minion life. The problems is without Elite Army, Elite Army is going to be our source of triple exposure. So fire, lightning, it's going to be a decent amount of DPS because it's -10 to all 3 resistance types that all weapons are going to be doing. But then we'd have to drop that for the extra aura, but I have to be sure the extra aura is even worth it. Hatred is worth it because we're trying to juice as much fizz damage, like flat fizz, as possible. But are any other offensive auras worth it? Is anger worth it? Is wrath worth it? I don't know that they are. AG curse. AG explodes chest. I have endurance charges. My minions also have endurance charges. 15. What up, Evan? How you doing? And welcome. Feeding frenzy is active. All right, let's start from here. Let's get the reservation and let's get that minimum. Let's drop this because we don't know that we're going to take it yet. Dexterity, we need a bit of dexterity. Strength, we are fine on strength. Resistances though, we need to cap our resistances between the three of them. We need to cap our resistances. Doing group play bossing, nice. Haven't done group play bossing, but that sounds fun. What bossing y'all doing? Oh jeez.
What? I was watching Ben, and he's farming the new bosses.
Okay.
And then someone in chat types as he's fighting the big guy, the big boss. Flask incoming. He's like, I don't want a flask. I want a jewel. Flask drops. He's like, fuck off.
Lol.
3% chance.
07. I mean, I've been looking for that flask, and that flask has said no, fuck you. So I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Uber Syrian Exarch, you have 1 trillion damage. Sheesh, that's a lot of damage. How do you get that much damage? Like, I know it's group play, so you're like juicing the fuck out of each other in terms of like aura effect and cursing and whatnot, but 1 trillion is insane. That's 1,000 billion. That is insane DPS. That means you basically blink him out of existence when he spawns, because even through all his DR at 1 trillion damage, he should just be insta killed. If I turn off, wait. If I completely turn off my need for stats, what can I do? I can get a really decent chunk of regen. I can get some block as well. All my strength nodes can become block. What shield are we gonna run? I can go Aegis Aurora Mind over Matter, and that honestly wouldn't be a bad idea. I'd have enough armor coming from my mercenary to give Aegis Aurora a very decent chunk of like ES. Max cold res is max cold res, so that would feel good. Spalling is stupidly expensive, so I don't want to do a Spalling. I don't also need a Spalling. I do think other than instant leech, I'm going to need certain other defensive layers to keep myself hale and hearty, if you will. You can share POB. What, I guess the question would be what kind of build is it? Because depending on the build, I may not be able to appreciate it. I guess I can appreciate a decently put together POB even if it's not minions. So sure, you can share it. Mark auras. And just to confirm, question. Level. Determination. Vitality. With the guy that has determination of vitality, does he? Do I have to go Infernal Cry guy? Because determination of vitality guy doesn't use a two-hander, so Kingmaker wouldn't work. And I would very much like for Kingmaker to work. This is with a 5-man. God damn. Yobi is 1.6 trillion. We only have 4 people, so we're at 1 trillion. Poor Uber Exarch. 36k life regen. You'd love to see it. Holy. Dude, what are these numbers? 45k increase because armor. $20k flat lightning. Oh, that's 2k. But with a 10% damage effectiveness of Vigilant Strike? Holy, that's insane damage effectiveness. Yo, Vigilant Strike has insane attack damage effectiveness. The fuck? 900%? Sheesh. So the second Uber Exarch spawns, it just insta dies, right? Like through all his damage reduction, which Ubers have at the start of a fight and everything, he just insta dies. Secrets of Suffering. How did they set up party members again? There. Party members. Determination 267%, grace 475%. Holy, 475% effectiveness of grace. High impact mines. 600, 700k face max hits. 10 million armor. 10 million, 10.2. Oh, this is some next level. You'd love to see it. Oh yeah, I wanted to check mercenaries. If I go to the strength guys, which are these guys, determination, vitality guy. Oh, I guess Ripper does have it, because the Ripper, I think, can use two-handers. No, he uses one-handed. One-handers. And I know the striker, who is the person I wanted to use, uses one-handers. Which means no Kingmaker. Which I do want a Kingmaker. Why can't striker use two-handers? Like, why limit them to one hand? So it has to be Infernal Cry guy, Eruptor, if I want to use a Kingmaker, because he can use two-handed axes. But then we're looking at Determination, Purity of Fire. I guess Purity of Fire is not the worst, seeing as we did have res issues. With this, we don't have to worry about res. We have less regen, sadly. And we don't have a free source of endurance charges. Some videos of the boss kills, sure. I mean, I'll take a look. The Link war cries. Uber Exile did not stand a fucking chance. So much for damage reduction. And then there's Ita.
Yep.
And that was even faster. Lol. That is hilarious. How much damage reduction did they spawn with again? I think, isn't it like 90% or some shit? FJK, thank you for the sub. Appreciate you. Welcome, welcome. How you doing? Appreciate it a lot. So there's actually perks for the Infernal Cry guy. Aside, Purity of Fire makes res a lot easier. Infernal Cry gives us explode and phases extra fire, so that's really nice. But we lose endurance charges, and that's not great. Good, good. Loving your videos. Keep it up. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you for the feedback. And again, thank you for the tier 1 sub. Appreciate you. I assume you're playing with Wretch Defilers, right? I guess here's the thing. Why do I want to have a Kingmaker? I want a Kingmaker for 2 reasons. Well, there's like 3 reasons. Reason A, and I want to pull up PoWiki for this. Fortification. But here's the thing. Endurance Cry guy gives me fortification with fortifying hits. The one I have, this guy, already has gilded fortification, so I will be getting fortify from Vigilant Strike. Me and my minion. So we have the fortify aspect of it. Then it gives me crit multi. I can't make up for the crit multi, but it also gives Calling Strike. We can make up for the Calling Strike if we were to give him Calling Strike gloves or amulet. And his amulet, if I give him Calling Strike amulets, he would have 15% Calling Strike, which is even better than 10% Calling Strike. But that crit multi will be hard to get to, like, it will be hard to it would be hard to replace, because 50 crit multi is 50 crit multi, especially since minions don't exactly have a good enough source of crit multi. Like, we don't have that many sources of crit multi. So being able to have him have this, not to mention the rarity, is just nice to have. So being able to get him to have this would feel really nice. Kingmaker's presence is only a 3-meter radius. I mean, in actuality, I have seen the range, and I think it's very, very, very forgiving. What do I lose by not going for Enduring Cry? I lose endurance charges, which already is a big no for me. I need to have endurance charges buff. I lose endurance charges. I lose a bit of regen, because when he does Enduring Cry, he gives all of us regen for like 4 seconds, which we can scale for. We can try to make him scale by giving him Warcry CDR and whatnot. So we lose regen, we lose endurance charges, we lose fortify. We lose 10 fortify. But the 10 fortify is more variable, because if the enemy is tanky enough, I suspect the fortification from his hits is not actually going to be that big. Like, we're not going to get 10 40, like 20 45 consistently on like tankier enemies and like PDR, endurance charge maps, whatnot. I don't think we're gonna get that, so it makes me think his fortify is. It makes me think his fortification is either capped on having a 5 to 6 link fortification or vigilant strike with this sharing fortification, or I don't know. Or he's just not going to give you good fortification in tankier enemy maps. But Kingmaker guy will. But if I give that guy Kingmaker, how can I then proceed to provide endurance charges for me? Because this is all for me. I want to have endurance charges. If my minions can get it, good. If not, oh well. Here's something else I just thought about. In theory, we could also get this guy to use Flame Link paired with Hand of Frisia. My minions would lose his Determination aura, but alternatively, he would have Giga effect for Determination on me. So my Determination aura would be... his Determination aura on me would be even higher effect. Because by the time we do all of that, Determination aura would be very juicy, and it would be worth scaling armor to a fair degree, at least for phase mitigation. That's what I think. But then how do we get endurance charges? Because then he's using he's using a two-hander. My AG used a two-hander. We can't fit endurance charge shield on anybody. We can't use specters, so that's not a source of endurance charges. I could go I could go a Megalomaniac, I guess. Megalomaniac with Enduring Composure, Blessed Rebirth. Something like that. Would give me a source of endurance charges. Should give me a source of endurance charges. And not need any of them to have endurance charge generation. My minions would then not have endurance charges, and neither would he, and that is a problem, I think. But I guess if I really wanted him to have endurance charges, I could anoint something like Inexorable on his amulet, and that'll give him endurance charges when he gets hit. Let's try that for now. I can't search based off of what it provides, eh? Something like that. But then my minions would lose endurance charges, which I really want my minions to be able to use endurance charges. I really do want that to be a possibility. Nearby enemies have fire exposure. Elemental armies minus what? Minus 10, right? Minus 10. All right. That's triple exposure. Anime Guardian should be 90 max. 87. 87 max. Okay. 87 max, 87 max. I won't say no to it. We need to cap his. Oh, his chaos res is already capped. Why does chaos max it so low? Hmm. Either way, right now he's tanky enough. All right, let's see. We have fresh meats. Oh shit! I didn't realize it was the wrong setup. Anyways, waking minion damage, elemental damage with attacks is a no-brainer. Melee Fizz. Intimidate should also help DPS, so Melee Fizz is a no-brainer.
Are you saving up for a 50 mil shipment?
Crop wise, yes. Why?
Does it matter for arrangement for crops?
You want to at least send a decent ratio of 2 different crops. So I went full send on blue xanthemum for a bit, and now I'm full sending on wheat.
Oh, really?
I don't know if I'd recommend the same thing, but yeah, you want 2 different crops.
So not just one of each or whatever?
What do you mean? You want a minimum of
I
at
said
least
one of
2
each.
crops. One of each? Like each crop? You mean like you?
Yeah.
Oh, your farm?
Yeah.
People just full send crop wheat and corn.
Wheat and
Most
corn?
people just full send wheat and corn. I went blue
So
xanthemum
25,
because
25? Or did they add dust as well?
the people typically add dust. Yes, I don't know if I want to add dust or not, but I think I will, because it takes so long to get 50 mil, and that could have been 2 shipments. So the amount of the currency that goes into 25 mil dust is the barrier for me, you know.
Yep.
I'm thinking of using overcharge on this guy, I'll be honest, instead of minion life, but I don't know how good that would be. Mm, we're messing around with DPS. I don't know if I want to Ellie focus this one or not. Probably not. What about Ellie Pen? Why is generic Ellie Pen not even showing up here? Why did this not show up as one of the options? Anyways, I think I'm going to have to use increase crit. One, two, three, four, five, six. Now for the amulets, this is where I'm thinking increase crit. Let's try multi-strike, increased crit. So this was me at 14.8, 12.6, 14.8. So multi-strike and crit damage are about the same, but the difference is multi-strike isn't variable, so it would actually feel smoother than crit damage. It will feel smoother than crit damage. Crit strike is the worst of them all to use. This is a 55% crit chance skill. If I can scale the crit chance a bit higher, there's a universe where crit damage actually overtakes. We don't need melee splash because they already have melee splash baseline from Chains of Command. Determination has 100% reduced reservation. Vitality has 100% reduced reservation. So if I have my way and I go Hand of Frisia Flame Link, I will drop Vitality, get Determination, get Flame Link. Get Hand of Frisia for 40% effects. Are they good corrupts here? No. There's nothing good there.
How's the character building going?
So far, so good. Can't complain.
Nice.
So far, I mean, this character is going to have an AG providing supports and a Merc providing support gear. And both of them providing support gear. AG is also going to have Explode, pretty decent Explode chance. And Merc is going to have Garb of the Ephemeral, so action speed, slow immunity, crit immunity to a degree. Shaper Seed so far. I might change Shaper Seed, but the regen should feel really nice on my character. Double Squirming Terror, so it's always killing, and so we have. I'm trying to really take advantage of. For the first, I'm trying to take advantage of fresh meat to the umpteenth degree. So I'm scaling duration to the point where fresh meat would last 5.6 seconds, and we should be producing enough like worms that we should be able to re-summon every single sword we have in the span of the 4 seconds. So that's kind of the idea here.
Oh, you should the worm tech.
Yeah, I'm using double squirming terror on my Merc for the worms, and then I'm going to be using Penance Mark for worms as well. Well, not for worms, but for the Penance Mark guys.
Oh, just juke the divine.
Oh, sure. Congrats.
Thank you.
Hmm. 20% from binding. %40 from ring, shaper seed. What can you get? %80. Determination has % increased. Aura effect. And then if I pair that with this with like a granite flask, a bunch of flats, pair that with, let's just do granite basalt. I might remove them, but I want to see. That's already 33k armor with no investment from my tree. And any little any sources of increased armor past that is going to giga juice it. But I do think I like the idea of an Aegis Aurora right now. So Aegis Aurora. I like the idea of an Aegis Aurora paired with Divine Shield, Mind Over Matter. So ES becomes a very thick part of my defense. Recovering ES, recovering life. Okay. I can vibe with that. In our current states, we are...
The canyon bosses do a lot of fizz damage. Like I'd be going through a whole map and then I get to those bosses and I still be like my life drop way lower than normal. It's pretty surprising when it happens.
I don't even know canyon bosses, if I'm being honest.
It's like a bird that's shooting at you and like a dog. Does that help?
What do you think? A bird that's shooting at you and a dog.
Yeah, a bird that's shooting an arrow at a dog. That does like close up damage. A chicken, more like the dudes in the Dorado zone when you first enter it.
The dudes in which zone? The Reso?
Yeah, when you get to the place that you have to split into two places, the two dreams.
Yeah.
The first zone of the dream on the right. The chicken dudes that have arrows.
Yeah.
That guy's one of the bosses in Canyon.
Like the chicken, like the small guys.
Yeah. They're like short. They really are quite silly looking, eh?
Yeah, I don't think I've seen this. I don't think I remember the boss specifically, but I don't know the monster type you're talking about.
Yeah.
What I want to do... Oh, jeez. Where the fuck can I get points from? Like, there's no easy place to get points from. We could drop some block and just go for glancing blows. That's like the easiest place to drop points from. But then I have way too much attack block. Where do I get so much attack block from? It's not all from bone offering, is it? Vicious guard, bone offering, glancing blows. So it literally is just bone offering. So wait, why? Oh, it's Aegis's base chance to block that is making that go insane. Okay.
More months of life on Fortress Boss. Brother is not even moving.
Yeah, Fortress really just be eating those moments of life and going a lot further with it than other T17s. It feels like.
If I wasn't so tanky, I'd be so dead.
Where the fuck can I get? Where on earth can I get points from? Like instant leech is not an option. This area is not an option. This join is like the closest thing to an option we have. Some of the masteries might be not the most necessary, I guess. I have an idea. Purity of fire. If I get the purity of fire mark instead. That gives me fire res. If I then run purity of lightning instead of flesh and stone. That does not work because this is a 35 versus a 25. Only works if I mess around with this. But like even if I turn it off completely, it's just not going to work. Oh. Purity of fire. Now it can work. Okay. And then if I were to get 90% for now. That would be fine. This way, I don't really have to worry about fire res, lightning res. But then I do need to worry about fire res, to be honest. I still need to cap it because there are going to be moments where he might not be within range of me. Like if I shield charge or something, it's possible, right? So long as it's possible, I don't want to risk it. But yeah, now we should have like 80 something% auras. I'm just going for gloves that are pure armor. I guess pure that are armor ES, something like this. Paladin gloves with Chaos res important. Cold res important. Fire res. And then minion damage. With obviously life importance. And Syrian Exarch Eta Worlds. Minions dealing increased damage importance. That's almost 80% max res on all resistance types. If I set it up this way. Chaos res, not so much. But at the very least, we have that. But we need all these sources of chaos res we can get. Boots, same thing, armor ES. Paladin boots with Syrian Exarch Eta Worlds T1 chaos res. Maybe fire res. But my fire res is capped even without purity of fire. Okay. But that's with these gloves, right? Yeah. Determination has let's try this. Reduced attribute requirement. Why do I need strength? Who's the culprits? Yeah, I figured it'd be determination. What does Replica Dragonfang's flight do? Reduce attribute requirements. Okay, so I'm just gonna, this says it's working. We have enough strength for everything we need is what that means. It's only determination that is the problem. So we don't need strength here. High tier life, high tier movement speed, chaos res. Really anything. Could even go crafted dexterity for good measure. What's important is chaos res is capped. We can also go offering. ring is going to be a bone ring. Or better still, a gloam ring. With minions dealing increased damage. Minion attack cast speed. T1 chaos res and good life. And then speed catalysts. And you can probably craft these with fractured minion damage and essence crafted minion move speed. So they zoom. All right. So I'm like this. If I can do this, pair this here, drop these. Oh man, this is a pain in the ass. What if we did this? We're still missing 130. Genuinely. Okay. I think realistically, I still would like to get Chaos Res tattoos for good measure. Tapped without, but by having that, we can afford to drop some tiers on some of these Chaos Res rolls. Not to mention, I still want to get my implicit back. I hate using this implicit for that. So if we go for like bone offering, that gives me a decent amount of block chance. Almost enough to cap my block and make me very tanky. I think that's a smart thing to do. And then for Eater Worlds, it's probably just going to be a life regen. I think it's going to be a buff effect angle. Multi-strike. Yobi, what is this newfound lag you have? Spell block is so hard, man. If I drop precision, I can maybe pick up Tempest Shield. But then we then run into a very predictable issue. We run into a very predictable issue of accuracy. Like, it's not even an option to do that. Where did my code res go? Yeah, it's only determination, which I'm actually running myself. Ah, jeez. I'm so close to being able to fix this. Spell block is still an issue, I think. But at this point, we can't be too picky now, can we? We're now within 10, thank goodness. Right, we're actually chilling now. I say we're chilling, but realistically we're not. So I think we've decided on Eruptor, right? Because realistically, Striker can't have Purity of Fire, so Eruptor is going to be the thing. Which means we have to go get the config we typically use for Kingmaker. Going to be Anime Guardian's weapon, AG 14, including full DPS, safe. 22.9 mil DPS so far. What does that look like? 28. I've gone the extra mile in this one to make it relatively, I guess, relatively tanky in comparison. But god damn, this was a pain in the butts. We're still not done though, watchers. We still need to give it as much flat pace as possible. PDR. Gives us a bit more PDR. Anime Guardian has pretty decent max hits. He should be a 2120 though. Pretty decent max hits. He's going to have 90 max res except cold. Cold is going to be his weakest element, and then chaos is going to be, you know, it's chaos. Not really getting much better in that case. So we have Calling Strike, so we're going to really worry about even more Calling Strike yet. I want to make sure this is actually being applied. Okay, yeah, it is. All right. So that's Kingmaker. Holmes Binding. Take 25%. You and nearby allies take 25% of physical damage as fire damage. Does that work? No, it doesn't work. Cloak of Flame. Did that work? No shot that worked. No, it didn't. %, physical damage taken as fire damage. %, physical damage taken as, so just remove this. Or physical damage taken as. That works. So you should also by default gain it as well. Yeah, cool. Okay, cool. That worked. Then What else do I need to worry about? Shaper Seed. I'm still not sold on the amulets. So there is an entire universe where I don't do that. But for now, we need to do Crown of the Tyrants. Nearby enemies have minus 10% to all resistance. You and nearby allies have copy paste. Did I give damage? All right. What else is there? I think I like this space there. Can we like move you to the side, please? Something like that. So what did I come here for again? Legacy of Fury. Nearby enemies are scorched. 40% increased scorch effect. Increased effect of scorch. Let's make this 35 just in case, because like we're prioritizing the explode chance, not necessarily the scorch. Legacy of Fury, explode chest. That I would kind of like this for the max res and the block chance. There is so much I need and I haven't done. But we have Watcher's Eye. Ailment immunity, we have Purity of Elements, so we don't need Storm Shroud. Stun immunity, we can get Immutable Force. And then out of all of these, I think we can just go Ghastly Hydro to fill up the rest. Let's see just how much damage you get from a fool's just minion phase. Yeah. A lot of damage. It's just T1 fizz. Maybe we can get T1 code as well. Nope, not nearly as impactful. Alright, so we do that. We do life. Then here I almost feel like we either go ASCS. How much attack? At this point, we have a lot of attack speed, but we also have a lot of increased damage. More so than I expected. Commando, Darkness, Enduring Bond, Paladin Gloves, Convening Wand. Would it be possible to get some help in a T17? I wrote too much life. So long as there aren't any mods that break me, sure. Send me a message in game at Deconic. Do we have a minion skill no damage mods? I mean, I'm more so thinking reflect and stuff, but yeah, like if it's fine, just send me a message. I can check the mods when I get in. So we have decided on going for an eruptor. Oh shit, it's Citadel. Oh, it's Citadel, eh? Action speed slow is going to be a pain in the butts. Well, we'll see. Citadel is the one. It's the one T17. Oh, it's harvests? Oh, okay. All right. I think that covers that plot. Is there still someone that isn't? So who's alive?
Let his power be known.
Crop rotation, eh? Where did he go? Is that all? I feel like I'm missing something. No, that's all. All right. You are welcome. I didn't miss anything in the harvest arts. It's actually done. All right. Sounds good. Realistically, the biggest multis I can have right now is just being able to do this. Any source of flat fizz is huge. Are there really no other sources of flat fizz? I guess there really aren't. I mean, there's sources of like shock. I don't know how much shock would be put in, so I just put a 10 here. I need to save these 3 points from somewhere else, but jewel sockets are by far our biggest multis in our current state of PoB. To increase my chaos max hits right now, there are two ways. I either go up in chaos res, or alternatively I increase my life. And I don't know that increasing my life is that possible. What if I did this? Did this? Drop here, drop here, drop here, go here. Minion 8% max res. I think this is a decent starting point. And because I have so much int, I can realistically do ES. Like max ES tattoos and whatnot. Until I'm out of ints, or until I'm borderline not having enough ints. Because realistically, the more ES I have, the more I can mitigate with mind over matter. I think it's a decent starting point, and when I'm below level 97 whatever, I'm just going to remove points from here. When I am below there, then probably a life angle or something. I don't even know yet. Remove these guys. Up and that 3 points saved. Now for all the support gems I need, we have Mark, we have Elemental Weakness. This guy doesn't have any curses on him, right? Consecrated Path would be nice. It would be nice, but I don't know that. I don't know how well we can juice it. And without knowing how well we can juice it, I think Consecrated Path would be the play, simply because it creates consecrated ground. So we have batches of consecrated ground at least. We also have Infernal Cry. We can't give him minimum Warcry effect or power. So what I will do is I will go Infernal Cry. With power is going to be $10. Uniques is how many? I think it was like it's 15, right? Because the player count is 5 or something like that. Power. Players have 5 power. Yeah. So 15 because unique, and then me minimum. And then while you're clearing, you of course have it's not even that much DPS increase, but at least it's extra explode. At the very least. And then we're going to anoint his amulets, which for now is a Shaper's Seed with Warcry. Do I want Warcry stuff? Enemies taunted by your war cries take 8% increased damages. Honestly, not a bad idea. The only problem with this is like, you know, Shaper's Seed. My problem with this is Shaper's Seed only has one anoint versus Strangle Gasp, which is not the worst thing ever. But I think Strangle Gasp is the play. But the moment I decide that, we're going to lose a bunch of life regen from minions, for ourselves, which is unideal. But like we can do natural authority and deep breaths for a decent amount of CDR. Make sure his enduring cries triggering it like every so often. That not enduring infernal cry. How long is infernal cry baseline? All the effects at 3.4, right? 3.4. 8-second cooldown as well. So if I can get it to like 6-second cooldown and the duration to 6 seconds, then we can at least rely on the taunt increase damage. How long does the taunt last? Does it say? It looks like it's the base duration. No. I don't know, man. I do not know. For 4% of life regen every second, paired with my base life regen, paired with my sword's leech, paired with instant leech, is so much life regen. It would actually be so much life regen. Deep breaths is 35% increase Warcry cooldown recovery rates. Shaper's Seed. So if I look at Infernal Cry baseline, the cooldown would be 4.8 seconds because quality yada yada. It still wouldn't be uptime or perma uptime, I don't think. Where is the duration? Oh, this is because I mean it's not 100%. It's really not. 35, right? 35. I also don't know if they have quality on theirs, so like I can't even say if this is going to be. I suspect they don't. Yeah, it's gonna be like 6-ish second cooldown. You and nearby allies have 4%. No. Regenerate 4% of life per second. I don't have the exact mod there. It's working. Now, the biggest thing for this build is base life. If I want these hits to go up, I need decent base life. But I guess this is fine for now. Prioritizing all gems sockets we are close by. But here's the thing. I'd like to get this one as well. Greedy? Yes. Let's do this. Holy, that's a lot of damage. That, my friends, is a lot of damage. Not worth. Not worth it. $555, which is 15. Then what if I did this? We have 4,481 life, right? We do this. We drop here. We drop there. We pick this up. That's the 15 we just lost. We end up with more life this way. Slightly more life, but we don't gain this yet. But we are in the better spot to gain it. We have regen that we swap regen here. We lose armor, which means by losing armor, losing ES, we're going to be gaining less ES and armor from Aegis Aurora whenever I block. Minion accuracy is the bane of my existence. I'll be very honest with you. How about this? What do you mean inactive gems? Cannot apply to any of the active skills. What do you mean cannot apply to any of the active skills? Anyways, how tanky is my anime guardian? 54k life. Pretty tanky, I would say. Now my anime guardian's weapons. They don't have to be tanky, they're immortal for 4 seconds. If I can fit this somehow, we are looking at 54 mil DPS. Well, that's a big if. We're not dropping Watcher's Eye. We're not dropping Immutable Force. I guess with Mage Blood, we can drop Immutable Force and go for more flat phase. Where's Raise and Pillage? Guess it's not that impactful, eh? Alright. We'll just go back to block. No. Vicious Guard. Vicious Bite would honestly be really good as well. But that would be expensive. I really don't like my spell block chances. The next thing I have to complain about. I'm not a big fan of it. Also, but now we can still do this versus these two. Simply because I think this would give me a bit more defensives or max hits and whatnot over taking these two. Because this has armor ES, still has a regen, and then has stats as well. Realistically, I should be trying to get at least another large ghastly large cluster jewel. If I can get fit to one more large cluster jewel, then I can get 2 more jewel sockets. But like at this point, I am already stretched thin. Okay. This is fine to start with. We get the extra block chance coming from bone offering while also getting attack half speed. Body armor is filled. Unatol is full. Gloves with enemy guardian full. Helmet with auras full. Boots are not. We don't have our boots. Boots will have shield charge, faster attacks, flame dash, then shield, which we still do not have. We'll have, actually no, this should be shield. Boots are going to have automation, molten shell, because we're juicing armor. Automation, molten shell, convocation, because even though we cannot convocate them typically, we can still have them regen, and then more duration. If I were to give myself a source of extra curse, how much damage would I get from frostbite? 6 mil. Now if I were to also go for a 20 elemental weakness myself, that's what that would look like. Yeah, I don't know that it's worth it. Simple reason being I'd have to replace my gloom ring, and my gloom ring is big damage. But if I had to replace my gloom ring with an anathema, let's just play around with this. And then I had an Arcanist brand, because I have 4 max power charges. I think I could get 4, then I would let's just say I have 4 for now. Then I could frostbite, flammability, conductivity, triple curse. That's a lot. That's significantly more damage than our boy Gloom Ring over there. Because with Gloom Ring, this would go off, and then Anathema switches to Gloom Ring. But the problem is, how do I replace the Chaos Res? I guess Watcher's Eye can be used to replace the Chaos Res, albeit at the cost of other res types. and do that. These go in boots, which means something's got to give. All right, if these are now in my boots, I think I still need molten shell because it's free armor. If anything, for molten shell as well. Good morning, David. What up? What up? So if we drop convocation, drop this, can it fit anywhere? Think. Helmet is full, weapon is full, gloves are full, boots are full. Conductivity being the worst of all the curses, but like that's fine. I think I have to use molten shell. I don't think it's much of an option. We drop faster attacks for shield charge because it's not mandatory. Weapon 2, something has to give. This is not a mage blood build, so we can't do without shield charge. We can technically do without flame dash, but not in the ideal universe. So we just need to figure out where this is gonna go. We do not have a single socket to put anything in, sadly. What the fuck, man? Just by switching to an anathema, now I have to deal with this BS. Oh god. Like I went from having way too many sockets to way too little in literally the blink of an eye. I wish I just increased the effect of offering, to be honest. But this is assuming I do that. I can go Ancient Skull. Corrupt. Max power charges. Then... But that would have me drop... Maybe not completely, but like that would take me down to like a level 3 or 4 precision, and that big hurts accuracy, so we might just have to find a way. Wait, what? Unmade Guardian, is this your Defiler build? No, this is a new build I am currently PoBing. Okay. This is a change of command build, pretty much. So it has nothing to do with defilers. I'm just POBing what will likely be my next build. What are the easiest 2 points to drop? If they were, this would have been a much different stream. There aren't any 2 points that are easy to drop. Would have to be like from here, but that's a decent chunk of damage. I guess Vicious Guard is the easiest to drop, which is 1. And now for number 2. That's number 2, Sag. All right, 58 mil. Kind of works. Go check out Anime Guardian survivability. Pretty decent. Pretty decent. Chaos Res is just going to be the most awkward part of this build. But by being able to get this, not only do I give my Anime Guardian weapons a bit of crit, which I do, but I also, you know, get extra curse limits. I think this is a very good amount of DPS versus tank. And with the amount of explode we should be able to get, this should feel really good to have. I think I'm actually satisfied with this POB. And this POB, in theory, should be able to deal with many T17 modifiers. So let's open POE.re and see what we cannot run. We can do reflect. We don't need to worry about Ellie or Fizz. Actually, no, we might need to. We wouldn't need to worry about Ellie. Fizz. Let's include C17 modifiers. We can do this. We just need to give our AG brutality or something. Make him not actually deal damage, which would hurt our damage. So maybe instead of brutality, give him woke Ellie damage, but that would be, you know, a bit more expensive. Players max res would be very unideal, but we're 80 max res, so losing 30 will still, that would still hurt. Unless you're using lore wave, you just cannot, you will feel max res. The question is, can you clear a map even with the max res, which you should be able to still if you have enough damage and explode. So I'm going to have to rely on my DPS for this one. For crits, I have 50% reduced damage from crits. It's not perfect, but it's what I could get. Fizz is extra. I'd be relying on my, what do you call it? On my DPS to kill before they get to me. Proj and... So this just reminded me of those freaking ball lightning guys. Against ball lightning, what is my game plan? Because like realistically, I can't block enough. My spell block is not as great as it probably should be. So what is my game plan for that? I can't run this. Just period. There's nothing I can do to run this. I think this is fine. This is, I mean, since I have an Aegis Aurora, I suspect I can still survive in it because I have 40% spell block. Whenever I do block spells, I am going to be regenerating ES, and I'm using Mind Over Matter, so I do still defend with ES as well as life. I have a decent life pool, so I think it's fine. I think it's fine. Then poison on hits, we're fine against that. Monster damage, again relying on my DPS. Early weakness, relying on my DPS. We can run that. We can run this. We can run this just relying on DPS. This would suck, but we can run it. With Mage Blood we can. Without Mage Blood we can't actually run this. I don't know if we, I don't think I can tank. I can't tank a meteor unless it's blockable, which I don't think it is. But I mean, who knows? We have so much minus res on the enemy that we should be able to tank this without an egregious amount. Plus, we have Ellie Pen, so worst case scenario, this is still kind of fine. Then more monster life, obviously we can tank it. Buffs on players expire 100% faster will be rough because our offerings just go. Our offerings, we have no block. Now we have 9-second offerings without corpses, and if we consume a corpse, then our offering becomes 12 seconds if we consume a corpse. If we consume corpses, we can get up to 16 seconds. So if it makes it go like 2 times faster, that becomes 8 seconds, 4 seconds uptime, which would be rough, but it's still there at least. But I think at the very least we have like maybe around 8 seconds when we're clearing the map, so like this is still fine. Debuffs on like monsters expire faster is fine. There is one that I'm thinking might be problematic, and that is, this is fine, this is fine. Oh, these are fine. Pen is fine. Our AG has good max res, so it's fine. There's one I'm trying to think of. Is it not here? Curse. Less effect of curses on monsters. That guy might be the only thing that Risk Scarab will make very, very uncomfortable, because it nullifies my penance mark and it makes it so we are not summoning the things we should be summoning to keep respawning them pretty much. Okay, in the meantime though, since we're at Leash of Oblation, let's do this. Granite Flask, Basalt, we'll probably change that Basalt's modifier to something else, but let's do this for now. Quicksilver, Quartz. So Basalt can go for something along the lines of regen. it lasts really long, so Basalt is a prime candidate for that. This has increased armor, so pretty good. Then you, Mr. Quartz, you would just be like curse, reduce effect of curses on in effect. Something like that. So while my flasks are up, this is what I look like. But when they are down, oh yeah, I forgot. I do have more block when it comes to Rumi's concoction. I just need Rumi's concoction to be up. All right, but when they are down, it looks something like this. And this is also with molten shell. Without molten shell, this is our worst case scenario. Chaos could really use work, but what can we do at this point? I have half a mind to switch this from automation to cast when damage taken. I do think cast when damage taken is better here, since I actually do need it for eating hits. And for good measure, we'll go Val Molten Shell. We can go Val Molten Shell, which would increase our survivability quite a bit, and we can have that up. We scale Giga Duration, so when we pop it, it's going to be up for quite a bit. But that said, I do mostly care about regular Molten Shell. With Val Molten Shell, my EHP is slightly higher, but I assume that's just because it's slightly more damage and it's... So let's see, what is the cooldown on Val Molten Shell? Do I have to activate it to see that? Yeah, I do. Okay, Val Molten Shell. Soul Gain Prevention is 36 seconds, but it lasts 23 seconds. So you press it and it's up for like... What's this? A third of a minute, 23 seconds, and then it's down for 36. No way to reduce its downtime, but like it is what it is. All right. I think I'm fine with this, if I'm being very honest. I think I'm fine with this. Sup, Erded. Erded, interesting name. How you doing? What you're building? Chains of command. I'm trying to build a chains of command that can... Well, that is decently tanky, decently... has pretty good clear, but more importantly, can actually run stuff like Risk Scarabs without having too many brick mods. So far, I think we have succeeded. The only complete brick mods we have is like this guy. And pre-Mage Blood, it would be this one. But once we have Mage Blood, this shouldn't be an issue. Block is also going to be spicy, and we're going to need a gem swap for block. The gem swap being block reduction support, which would go in the amulet because that can actually have a white socket. So we would need a gem swap for this guy. Everything else I think is fine. Reduce less defenses is unideal, obviously, because we need our we would like ES. This we took instant leech just to combat this guy and reduce recovery rate, so we can do both of them. We can deal with this. Volatile cores will will still kill us, but I think that is what it is. And we still do not run this. So this mod is still a no-go. Volatile cores and movement speed. Those three are probably the ones we just can't do. We can do reflects. Reduce effects of non-curse auras is less than ideal because that basically turns off our purity of elements. So our resistances go all the way down, and of course purity of lightning. So we probably don't want to take non-curse auras. But the question is, can we tank it? Will that just be a brick mod where we can't play the game? Because I think, and I could be wrong on this, but I think even with reduced effects of auras, purity of elements should still allow us to be ailment immune. Just because it doesn't matter what the effect is, it's just what the aura provides. It would not give us any resistances, but no, I'm not entirely sure. So it's something that I would have to ask around to confirm. But that's what I think. I think, honestly, for just that modifier, it might be worth going for, instead of going for regen here, because we have a lot of recovery, it might be worth going elemental resistances during effect. Just in case we get that. Because if we get that, then this would help us make up for the resistance we just lost. And offensively, we lose accuracy, which is very, very unideal, and we lose hatred. But the way to solve the accuracy issue is realistically to switch from attack cast speed to accuracy rating. That caps us on their accuracy by fair amounts, to the point where we can probably, so if we were to turn off precision, they would be close enough to cap that it wouldn't be the end of the world. All right, I think I like that. Then so that kind of accounts for all auras. We can kind of make do so long as purity of elements with over 100% reduced effect still gives us ailment immunity. I'll ask around if that is the case. Minus max res is rough regardless. Like there's no way around it. It'll suck, but we are just going to need to rely on the simple fact that we're trying to kill them before they kill us. If we run mods like this, we will die and we'll probably lose maps in the process. And I don't know if we have enough damage for T17 bosses with modifiers like these being juiced up. But hey, if we can kill everything else, that's fine. Players cannot regen life mana ES. ES is fine because ES recovers. It does mean with mind over matter, we have to worry about energy shield, how fast energy shield starts recharging. Because life, we would still gain life from our leech, instant leech, all that is fine. But ES will be problematic. Less recovery rate of life and ES will be problematic as well, because that means ES is not going to regen. Actually, no, because of how much armor we would be trying to get, or we would be getting, we can still run it technically, because Aegis Aurora recovers 2% of armor when you block. With all our flasks on, we are going to be recovering, how much armor is this? 10% is 4,800. So 2% is let's just say 2% of 5k. 2% of 5k is my brain isn't working. 1k. It's about 1k ES every time I block, give or take, with this amount of armor. And then if my flasks are off, it drops down to 500. But like just one block and my ES is fine. So for casting spells, I should still be able to with block. So we can still run this. Instant leech will save the life portion as well. crits is still just we have anti-crits 50%. It's not great. Oh yeah, you know what I just remembered? We have anti-crits as well coming from our AG. So it's the anti-crits, the 50% I'm talking about only for the ones that are out of AG's, not AG, mercenaries range, our mercenaries range. So we do have that going for us, which is really nice, I think. Really nice. Okay. Like I'd like to give this guy a source of infernal cry, not infernal cry, enfeeble, and a source of curses, but yeah. Here's petrified statue is still going to be, we're going to be able to beat it with the same chest piece garb of the ephemeral. Same thing, garb should save us. Again, the only full bricks are like less effects. Less effect is a full brick. Can't run it. Hexproof, probably a full brick as well. Hexproof means I have no way of making enemies curseable. Where is what I'm looking for? Unholy authority. Yeah, I have no way to make enemies eat curses. So hexproof also just makes hateful accuser a lot less worth it, you know. Now, granted, hexproof, and I'm only going to feel like curses when I'm doing single targets, and that's because that just means we're going to have some really notable downtime on summoning our swords, which could from like penance mark, because now we don't have that curse available to us. We also we have a lot of curses, so it might be worth going for a source of like curse, I don't know, hex avoidance, hexproof avoidance, I don't know. Let me see PoE wiki. What are easy sources of hexproofness? Prosperous Bill, Viridi's Bill, and Unholy Authority. Okay, so we're just not doing it, eh? Alright. But yeah, overall, pretty satisfied with what we have. So tomorrow we probably start building towards this, and we'll see how this goes, pretty much. But yeah, before ad break starts in like 30 seconds, I think we're going to end stream, so you guys don't have to sit through that. We didn't end up playing Diablo 4 today, but like, who cares, really? Who cares? I'll be back tomorrow. We might start leveling this character then, or even before. I'm not entirely sure what I want to do yet. Odds are we're going to start leveling. Oh wait, we do have one more thing to do. I kind of forgot we sent a shipment. We did send a shipment, so let's at least see that before we end stream. Twitch, hold off. I can't delete the freaking ads. That. All right, let's see how much we can get. Do we have ignite? No. Wait. We got block. Any suppress? No suppress. We got ES. We got curses. Not bad. Not bad. All right. That's what I wanted to show. I will be back tomorrow. Till then, have a good night.